What led you to deciding to start your foundation?
When I lost my mom to cancer, I became a fundraiser. And then when I went through it, I realized, my goodness, there's a lot of massive gaps in the cancer community. I went online to figure out what testicular cancer was, and it was all 12-syllable words. And it was like, I'm not smart enough to be sick. Are you kidding me? So we created a website that's everything you need to know about chemotherapy. It's called chemocare.com. Anything you don't know about chemotherapy, all in 8th grade English, Spanish, and on Google Translate, it's any language in the world.
And you were expecting this thing to get a goal was 3 million hits in a year, right?
3 million hits a year was like, that's our goal. We're gonna get there somehow. 3 million hits a year, and then now we're really serving people. It's over 2 million hits a month. And when they diagnosed my brain tumor and they said there's a medical option, they put the papers down in front of me and it was a chemocare.com printout. I was like, okay, now this has come full circle. But yeah, I mean, and then the other side of it was, I felt isolated. I mean, I didn't know if I was doing all right. How do you gauge? Am I good at chemo? I mean, I don't really know if I'm doing this right. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel. I don't know what the pitfalls are, where the traps are. And sure enough, I got to round 3. It's the regimen for testicular cancer it's about a 8-hour infusion of chemotherapy drugs, 5 days in a row, 16 days off, 5 days in a row, 16 days off, 5 days in a row, and then do that four rounds. So that's 20 days of 8 hours of chemo total. By round 3, I wanted to die. And it wasn't like I was so sick or anything. It was just my life had changed so drastically in a little over a month, 2 months, that I went from touring and doing what I like to do, being in front of all those people and blah, 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 to now I'm bloated. Every hair on my body fell out. I didn't feel great, but I got so depressed. I didn't know that round 3 is the trap. There was no one to tell me that round 3 is tough. There was no one to tell me that the post-surgical swelling was going to be profound. There was no one to tell me that all these things that were normal and part of it, and it's okay, this too shall pass. So we created a program where we paired newly diagnosed patients with survivors of the same disease and treatment cycle, so that they have someone there that truly understands what they're trying to say and do, and they have someone there that is a survivor that works as a role model as well. So the Fourth Angel Mentoring Program is really doing well, and there's almost 900 mentors now.
How did an evening with Scott Hamilton and friends come about?
How am I able to bring people together to fundraise? Well, I mean, I did touring shows for years, and we had like almost 20,000 people in St. Louis at the big arena there, and I've never been scared like that to step on the ice, because they're right on top of you. Mm-hmm. And I figured if we can get that many people to come together for skating, knowing how many people are going to face cancer now, I mean, the statistics are horrible. 1 in 2 men, 1 in 3 women will face cancer in their lifetime. There's a lot of people out there that want to make a difference. And there's a lot of people out there that like skating. So let's do an ice skating show. And I got really spoiled because, the older you get, the more stuff you want, right? It's just the nature of the beast. Live music. So we bring in an iconic artist, artist.
You've only had some okay acts.
Well, man, we've had some great ones. I look back over it, and I'm a music guy. I love music, and just the fact that some of my heroes when I was growing up, I've got to have at the show. So it's Liza Minnelli and Cheap Trick and Michael Bolton and Cyndi Lauper and Vince Gill and Sheryl Crow, who I love and adore forever and a day. We've had all these incredible artists.
You have a favorite moment or two from all the years doing the shows?
It was, our 13th year. You think, okay, 13 years, we're gonna be a little unlucky the 13th year. So we decided, I decided that in the history of skating up to that point, there'd been 13 Olympic gold medalists in figure skating on the 13th year. I go, that seems to be. So I got on the phone one day, I just called them all up. I said, you want to come to Cleveland and do this thing? And so I had every living Olympic gold medalist on stage at the same time in Cleveland for the show. And it was just this thing. Everyone from Tenley Albright and Dick Button to Sarah Hughes and Evan Lysacek, Christy, Dorothy, Peggy, the Jenkins brothers, Carol Heiss. I mean, they're all 13 were there. And it was just looking at that was just a great moment for Cleveland. And it was just one of those things where it's like, I can't believe my life has come to this, where I guess I'm a member of this crazy club where I can look and I can say, these are my peers. It doesn't make sense to me that with everything I've seen and faced and done that like Dick Button is my friend. That's unbelievable. And Hayes Jenkins and Carol Heiss Jenkins come to the show every year in Cleveland, and just the fact that that it's come to this is just, it boggles my mind, and it's so humbling to know that for whatever reason, I've been blessed with these opportunities.